Two lawyers who were leftist activists face life in prison after throwing a Molotov cocktail at a police vehicle. Hello everyone, this is Mr. Obvious, and today on CNN, we're here with CNN of all places, and we're going to be talking about the two lawyers who dressed up as members of the far-left group Antifa and attempted to burn down a police vehicle, and were busted by the police. Here you can see on CNN how two promising lawyers found themselves facing life in prison for the alleged Molotov cocktail attack during protests in NY, New York. Now, I love how CNN, and here's the thing. CNN is a left-wing news media organization, and they put alleged attack. No, they were caught. They were caught throwing a Molotov cocktail at a police vehicle, attempting to set it on fire. Now, I love it because when CNN covers a story that doesn't suit their political interests, they won't say alleged attack. They'll just say attack. And this is how you know whose side CNN is on. They're siding with terrorists. The United States government, for example, has declared that Antifa is a terror organization, and these people have participated in that terror. Amazing how they defend these people. Now, we're going to talk about all of this, and I'm going to show you an interview of one of these lawyers, aka far-left activists, and we're going to go into all the shocking details. But first, if you're new to the channel, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, please consider giving it a share. Spread those red pills. And now a quick word from this week's sponsor.
Zuck the cuck drinks water like a duck, but he also drinks your data. So tell him and Google to shove your data up their schwing-schwangs by downloading the Brave browser. It's free, blocks online advertising, and protects your privacy and data from evil tech companies. You only see ads if you want to see them, and you get cryptocurrency for your attention. Don't let Zuck use you to make a buck. Download Brave by clicking on the link down below.
And we're back. So, let's just jump right in. I don't know why CNN is starting the story this way, but they're talking about the backstory of these two people. In 2014, a group of students from the New York University of Law, of course the university, always brainwashing, and they gathered for a joint birthday party at a bar. So, Colinford Mattis quickly hit it off with another guest, Urooj Rahman, who was studying law at Fordham. Both were raised in Brooklyn, and the two bonded over their professional interest in human rights and their engagement in local politics, and then they became friends. So Mattis and Rahman, 32 and 31, are now in jail, facing federal charges alleging they participated in a Molotov cocktail attack on an empty New York Police Department vehicle during protests sparked by the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis. So these are two lawyers, and I want you to think about this. These are lawyers. They know the law. They know what is illegal and what isn't illegal, and they know what the punishment is, and yet they still went out on the streets, and they still tried to burn down police vehicles and riot. These people were rioters, okay? People call these protests. Peaceful protest does not have people burning down buildings, dragging people out of their cars and beating them, and stealing, okay? Looting is not protest. And these lawyers are radicals. That's exactly what they are. They're radicals, a part of the cult of modern-day leftism. But what do you think CNN has to say about these people, about these radicals? Well, CNN itself is radical, so they go on to praise the lawyers. They say, the promising young lawyers with enviable education pedigrees. More like abominable. And significant familial responsibilities. He is raising 3 foster children, and she is the primary caretaker for her elderly mother, suddenly find themselves detainees indicted on 7 federal felony charges for which they face life in prison. Their predicament has puzzled not only family and friends, but also prosecutors themselves. Oh, come off it. I don't care what their educational pedigree is. Just because they went to a school and they have a degree, that doesn't mean that they're above the law, okay? They committed 7 felonies. They lit a car on fire. There could have been someone in there. They probably didn't even know. That's violence. That's rioting. And that's terror. Okay. Can you imagine if they had become lawyers? How many criminals would they have let go free simply because they had a certain shade of skin? How many criminals would they have put back on the street? And that's the problem with these extremists, with these left-wing activists. They are delusional and brainwashed, and that spills over into everything that they do. They're always pushing their agenda, so they wouldn't have made good lawyers. It would have been a disaster, I think. I mean, look at them. They literally went out and committed acts of terror. But look at the quote they include. Look at how insane it is. Quote, "He's a person with an extraordinary career that was just starting in the law. He attended prestigious universities. He had some of the best education you can have in the country, and yet he risked everything, to drive around a car with Molotov cocktails attacking police vehicles." Federal prosecutor Ian Richardson said during one of Mattis's initial court appearances, quote, "It's difficult for me, frankly, to comprehend how someone with his position and background would do what he did. Well, I have the answer, so no need to fear. The reason that he did this, and the reason that the woman did this, the reason that these lawyers did this, is because they've been brainwashed by the political left. They've been taught that violence is okay. Leftists actually believe that they're on the right side of history, even though they're burning things, getting people canceled, getting people fired, ruining people's lives, beating people in the street, looting from stores, and calling for the destruction of America. Literally, calling for some left-wing socialist, communist utopia. And they claim to fight for equality. They claim to be the good guys, but they do violence and advocate for violence. I want to show you an interview of the female lawyer from this story. Let's take a look.
So yeah, tell me about this protest. How do you feel about it, or how you involved? Or
I think this protest is a long time coming. People have been frustrated and angry. The murder of Eric Garner, the murder of Breonna Taylor, the murder of George Floyd.
And notice how in all the murders that she lists caused by police that were unjust, she doesn't mention the countless amounts of white people who were killed in the same way. Off the top of my head was Tony Timpa. Here you can see on CBS News. Disturbing video shows Dallas officers joking as they restrain a man who died. In this horrible story, police officers detained a man named Tony Timpa. So as they were cuffing him and shoving him to the ground, he was saying, "You're gonna kill me." And kill him they did. He ended up dying, and police officers were laughing at him, caught on camera, as he lay there dead. Another story comes to mind about Daniel Shaver. In 2017, he was eliminated by a SWAT officer who shot him. It's a particularly disturbing story. You see, he was at a hotel for business. He was on a business trip, and a neighbor got annoyed that he was making noise with his, he was having a couple drinks, I believe, with some friends. So one of the neighbors called the cops and said he had a gun. But turns out he did not have a gun. They came to his door. He was half drunk. They shouted at him confusing instructions, and then they shot him dead. And the most insulting part of this is that the officer involved, Philip Brailsford, didn't go to jail. Even though this was a murder, even though this was injustice, he was laid off, and he collected a pension because they said he got PTSD. He's out there making money right now for free after he murdered this man. So you want to talk about injustice? How come you can't name a single white person who was murdered by police? I'll tell you why. Because you do not care about all lives.
Murder of Ahmaud Arbery, the list goes on and on. This shit won't ever stop unless we fucking take it all down. And that's why the anger is being expressed tonight in this way. These people have so much pain. We're all in so much pain from how fucked up this country is towards black lives. This has got to stop. And the only way they hear us is through violence, through the means that they use. We've got to use the master's tools. That's what my friend always says.
And there you have it. This lawyer, Urooj Rahman, is caught on camera advocating for violence. She says that the only way they understand is through violence. You gotta use the master's tools. She's quoting a friend. She's finished. Because not only is she been alleged to have thrown Molotov cocktails at police vehicles, she's here on camera advocating for violence. There you have it, folks. These are the kind of people that are on the modern political left. The people calling themselves leftist activists, the people calling themselves liberal, the people calling themselves on the right side of history. This is what they really believe. And yet the media, and yet the mainstream media outlets like CNN defend these people, praise these people. And meanwhile, anytime the right wing does anything or says anything, it's automatically taken out of context. It's condemned. Conservatives are hated on by the media, but then they go on to praise stuff like this.
How do you feel about the officers hurt? We heard some officers were hurt tonight.
I haven't heard about that. I don't know. I think that the mayor should have pulled his police department back the way that the mayor in Minneapolis did. I think the mayor should have done that, because if he really cared about his police officers, he should have realized that it's not worth them getting hurt. Property is not worth them getting hurt. But this is the way that people show their anger and frustration. Nothing else works. Nothing else, because it keeps happening over and over again.
I can literally imagine her lawyer adjusting his tie, going to the roof, having a cigarette, and walking off, because that's literally what she's done to her case. This video will be played in court, and my God, you're going to jail, Missy, for a long, long time. So here's what prosecutors say. They say that the two lawyers drove Mattis' tan minivan late in the evening of May 29th to participate in widespread protests in Brooklyn's Fort Greene neighborhood. There, just before 1 a.m. on May 30th, Rahman approached an empty NYPD vehicle with an already broken window and tossed in a makeshift explosive device. Terrorism. Literally domestic terrorism. And I remember reading other reports that these lawyers were indeed basically a part of Antifa. Here's why she's going to jail for life. She also attempted to distribute Molotov cocktails to several other individuals and incite them to use the Molotov cocktails in the course of the protest. So not only did she firebomb a car, she encouraged other protesters, rioters, looters, criminals to do the same thing. That is criminal. That is insane. These people are disgusting. I condemn them fully. And I condemn CNN for even attempting to defend these people or paint them in a positive light. Because these, my friends, are criminals. And they deserve to rot in prison. Okay, I'm not going to be nice like other left-wing commentators who say things like, well, they're just young, dumb kids who don't know any better. They're adults. They should know better, okay? They should know better. They were lawyers. They did know better. They knew the law, and they did it anyway. So F them, okay? I don't think that there's going to be anything controversial about me condemning these criminals. When they caught them, because they did flee the scene, they stopped the vehicle and police found precursor items to build explosives, including lighters, Bud Light bottles stuffed with toilet paper, and a gasoline tank. Both Mattis and Rahman have been indicted on charges including the use of explosives, arson, and civil disorder. They're not entering a plea deal. Oh my God, and here we have CNN trying to defend them still. By all accounts, their alleged actions stand in contrast to their nature. Could it possibly be that left-wingers act really nice in public, but deep down, they're actually really violent, mean, and ugly people? According to their friends and lawyers, and a review of their professional experiences and personal lives, Mattis and Rahman are lifelong social justice activists with a deep interest in civil rights and police reform, but neither displayed signs that they might engage in any sort of violent outburst of which they are accused. Shut up, CNN. They did it. She's caught on camera, literally saying that violence is the only language they understand. You know, I love the quotes they include here defending these terrorists. Quote, he always wanted to use a law degree to do good in the world. If by law degree you mean explosives And the world? You mean police cars? I guess I could see it. Quote, everything she did was to help underprivileged people. Except if they were white. Yada yada. Meanwhile, their detention has alarmed their friends. Quote, they're just amazing people, said Rizvi. They're really kind-hearted. Except if you're white. And they do not deserve to be in jail right now. They are not a threat. Okay, no, they're definitely a threat. So this is the story, my friends. 2 lawyers threw their life away so that they could burn down public property. And keep in mind, who pays for public property? Who pays for those police cars? You do. The taxpayer. That's right. These people are idiots. They're morons. And I gotta be honest, I think these people are evil. There's nothing more to it. They live in this fantasy land where everything is bigoted, where only certain people are victims, and where the right-wingers and conservatives or people with skin that is too light are the bad guys. I don't believe any of that. I think that's all nonsense. It's all fantasy cock-a-doodle-doo. But you know what, my friends? Today, at least, justice is going to be served. These 2 lawyers face life in prison for their attacks. But that's merely the obvious. Well, that's all for now, folks. What do you think about this story? Be sure to let me know down below in the comment section. Now, as always, if you want to support the work I do, you can join me on Patreon or Subscribestar. You can join for as low as $1. There's different tiers. You can pick whatever level you wish. And doing so will give you access to a private Discord server. Remember to hook up your Discord account to the websites. If not, I'll send you a link. Now, if you want to donate, there's DonorBox and Bitcoin. Those links are also in the description. And lastly, please share the video. Please show everyone that these lawyers are going to prison. These left-wing activists. This is what they believe. And more people need to know. And show them that media outlets like CNN are defending this. This is not what I would want to vote for. Which is why I do not vote left. And lastly, why not visit my merch store? I've got 2 beautiful designs based on the Deus Vult meme. A beautiful knight and a sword. Be sure to check it out down below. Anyhow, thanks for watching. This has been Mr. Obvious. Keep on spreading those red pills, and I'll see you all next time.